So I think it's really important to kind of see some different ways, and we might have blown them up too. I might have put too much pressure on, and they might all went and spilled back behind us, and then we'd have known we'd put too much pressure on. So now I'll send them out here to Ron again, and we'll see how they respond on foot. Now coming around this corner, I'm going to try to be on the right side here, and I'll start these cattle. This is my domino. I want this animal to bump those, and they'll start that movement right up through. That's the kind of movement that we want when we're gathering a herd. The same thing you just saw there. These cattle right here bump those cattle there. Watch how that movement just goes right up through them. See, now they're trotting without me telling them to trot. And that's what I'm talking about with this gather that goes up through the herd. All right, Ron, go ahead. I've been talking too much.
The same thing. I'm just going to pick them up here and try to keep drawing them this way if I can, without having them turn back toward Curt. And we can draw them out, stop them just like we did horseback. It does not matter whether you're on foot or horseback or whatever you want to try to do. So I can kind of help keep drawing these cattle forward. At some point in time, I can release them. If we want to go back to the same place, we can do that. I can come down here and help draw this one around. Start our flow going, we'll draw those into them. Just gets pretty easy to move these cattle on foot. I have to be careful not to stay too close to them when I go up their side, or I'll stop them. We're doing the same thing we did a while ago, trying to get the front started. If I step in too close, that one can come out. And this is what I say a lot of times. If Curt was further behind and I didn't put too much pressure, they'll squirt between us.
Yeah.
And we see that all the time when people are gathering or working from behind the herd. We can really cause those cattle to squirt out. That's the biggest issue I see in a lot of ranches I go to. Everybody just jammed up on them, and everybody's putting pressure at the same time. And the cattle don't know who to respond to, and they'll try to bolt and get out of there.
They have nowhere to go in front of them, so they have to sneak out by the weakest spot, out back.
We bring them to you?
Sure.
These little heifers they're really nice to work, but the thing I like about these, if you're wrong, they're going to let you know pretty quick. They're kind of really fun to work. As Curt's saying, working that alleyway and you're creating that speed and drawing those cattle and kind of getting them to the point they want to try to take themselves out.
All right, Ron, so as they come around here, I'm going to stay out in front, and would you talk about how to turn cattle from the back?
Yes, sir. I'll try. As they come out of here, if I want them to come back to this side over here, I'll try to draw this first one's eye around. If that doesn't work, which it didn't, I'm going to have to walk over here and push those cattle out, but if I want them to turn back to that corner. Now, if I don't want them to go into the corner, I'm going to see if I can do this. I'll try to just turn them here. I don't know if that'll work or not. But as they start in here, if I kind of stay in here behind them, I'm going to start drawing that eye back out this way.
There you go.
If I can get her to look and see these Brahman cattle hook an ear on, but I can keep them from going in the corner by drawing on the hip or drawing on an eye. We used to call it pushing on the hip, but you're really drawing the eye back around. But position yourself closer to the hip. Now, if you lose contact, once again, you can push on an eye on this side. Put a little touch on it. And make them actually make that curve as well. So everything we're doing is about pushing or pulling on an eye and letting them see where we're putting our pressure.
Let's hold them up right there. Just there, good, right there. Okay. Right at the water trough. Good. Go ahead.
And how we position ourselves, we talk about this in all the sessions, is where you put pressure, and Curt's got a great analogy for that, about putting it right there in our BQA spot on the neck. And that's a great place to think about putting your pressure and putting your focus. But we're communicating with them through their eyes and sometimes through the ear with a little noise. As Curt said, he wasn't going to use much noise back here because he didn't have to. Everything was based off what they saw, and that was enough pressure to get them to go and move away from that pressure. they don't sense pressure on their body. They sense it through their eyes and ears and through the brain.
Watch what happens right here. Now, if I want, oops, I'm late. She left me. If I want to go up and turn these cattle, and I want to keep them moving, but I want to turn them to the left. As I start up this cow side here, as I start up here to turn them, watch what happens to this leader here. She turns and looks at me, and now her mind is no longer on the moving, but I've just caused her to slow down and stop her feet because she turned her head. So by going up their side to turn them, you might get them turned, but you stopped all their movement. So what Ron was talking about with the injection side, if I go out here and these cattle, they're starting to veer to the left and I want to turn them to the right, if I go straight out, until I can connect with that first one, and then I can push her head across, you see now I haven't slowed movement, I've created movement, I've straightened her out, and now we have, I got my cattle straightened out or turned without stopping or slowing their movement. But if you just come up their side like this, they all turn and look at you with both eyes, and that slows their feet down. We teach people to go up their side to slow them down and stop them. So you can't turn them that way. And that's really important to understand.
Yeah, it's just real natural for cattle. If you walk up their side, they're just going to shut down if you're close enough. And that depends. You can go along with the flow of the cattle. As long as you're far enough away, they don't see that. It's kind of putting a brake on them.
And if there's no other cattle up in front of them.
Yeah. Because that draw in front of them will change where you have to be to stop that movement.